So many games come out every week, it's almost impossible to keep up with unless it's your full-time job. Well, here at Game Conclave, we've got your back. We scour the web for all the info we can find on upcoming releases, and today we've got another batch of 9 new games, including Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming out this week in January, to let you know all about. I'm V-Bird, and as always, welcome to Game Conclave. If you could take a moment to give us a like and subscribe, it would really help us grow. Without further ado though, let's hop into some new games in our 7th video of January's new releases. Alright, so Guilty Gear Strive is finally hitting the Nintendo Switch. If you're not familiar with Guilty Gear, this is a long-running fighting series made by Arc System Works, one of the best fighting game dev teams out there. They're behind, obviously, Guilty Gear, but also the BlazBlue series, and they do tons of licensed fighting games. They made the Dragon Ball FighterZ, the Grand Blue Fantasy Versus game, Persona 4 Arena, and Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Just really fantastic games. One thing I love about this series in particular is that a ton of the characters are named after heavy metal bands and musicians like Venom and Michael Kiske. They always just, I don't know, they're awesome. They have top-notch animations, killer soundtracks in their games. This one will be dropping finally on the Switch on January 23rd. It is already available on pretty much all other platforms.
Let's rock!
Wizardry The 5 Ordeals is a remaster of the 2006 release of the game with the same name. If you're not familiar with Wizardry, it's actually a very early Western RPG series. It was created back in 1981, but it found more success in Japan, where the IP was eventually acquired and resurrected long after most Americans had forgotten it even existed. Various Japanese studios over the years have continued to keep the franchise alive since the 90s. And these are pretty hardcore dungeon crawlers. You'll create your characters, venture into a dungeon looking to conquer it with a 6-person party. This series is much more focused on party building, exploration, and combat than it is on the story. So if you're looking for a new dungeon crawler, this one will be launching on the Nintendo Switch on January 30th. Somber Echoes is developed by Rock Pocket Games and Lav Games. It is a metroidvania based on Greek mythology and tragedies, and that sounds awesome to me. I love Greek myths and history. So you'll apparently be entering the spaceship Atromitos, which has become a breeding ground for horrific beings to deal with, as well as your twin sister Harmonia, who is planning to destroy the universe. You play as Adrastea, who in Greek myths is associated with helping to protect Zeus from Kronos, his father, who intended to devour him. Learn about what's transpiring while exploring and defeating enemies to acquire new powers and skills. This one is exclusively coming to PC at this time, but we did see the developers say they would like to bring this one to consoles. So if you like what you're seeing or you're just digging a new Metroidvania, check it out on January 21st, and hopefully it does well enough that we can see some console ports down the line. Alright, everyone out there, we gotta have a small talk. We previously released a video talking about new games coming out where we covered Needy Streamer Overload. And I referred to this upcoming game, Needy Streamer Typing of the Net, as its sequel. And honestly, I'm not even really 100% sure that's what it is. Apparently, you will be playing as now one of OMG Kawaii Angel's viewers, and you will be engaging with her in a typing simulator where you spell out words after she asks you how they're spelled. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on in this series. I'm just going to have to play it at some point. It's just, I don't know. My brain is like hurting, wondering what on earth it is. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a prequel. Maybe it's a sequel. I don't know. I'm just confused about it. So yeah, if you want to know what's going on, make sure you check out the first one. Then you can come type at OMG Kawaii Angel so that she knows that you know how to spell. And as the trailer says, no, you can't fix her. But yeah, the game will be dropping in January on PC, and presumably they are going to bring out some console ports later down the line. All right, Mark of the Deep is developed by Mad Mimic, whose previous game, Dandy Ace, is also very similar to Mark of the Deep in that they are Metroidvania Souls-like roguelikes. And yeah, that's a whole bunch of mashups of genres, but it's a popular mashup. So anyway, this one's a pirate-themed one with really awesome visuals. And people are undoubtedly going to compare it to Hades, which, yeah, it looks pretty reminiscent of. But after a while, it kind of becomes its own beast. You play as Marcus Rook the Rookie, and you'll be exploring and fighting enemies while searching for your lost crewmates on a cursed island, complete with quests, monsters to defeat, undead, enemies, and cultists as you try to escape from this mystic island in a swashbuckling Souls-like. It's launching on PC on January 24th, and there are console versions planned to launch, but as of the time of this recording, we could not find any official store pages, so the console versions might be coming at a later date. If that's the case, we'll be sure to let you know when they do come out, but there are planned versions from what we could find out. All right, next up we got Worlds of Aria, and this is a interesting looking one. It's a little adventure game where you form a Dungeons and Dragons style party. You can play solo or co-op with friends. And it's made by Ludogram Games, whose previous title was Firebird, a narrative adventure title. And a fun little thing about this one was it's narrated by Laura Bailey, the voice actress, super prominent, best known probably as Nadine in Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy, Abby in The Last of Us 2, Rise Fujikawa in Persona 4, and just dozens and dozens of other roles. I think she's in pretty much every major gaming series in some way, shape, or form by now. She's also on the web series Critical Role. But yeah, so in Worlds of Aria, you can play the game by yourself or with your friends. You'll select from one of 12 characters, each with their own skills. You'll form a party and set out on what the developers describe as a chaotic adventure filled with decisions to make and dice to roll, while trying to defend the kingdom from encroaching evil forces. This one already released on PC last year, and it is now landing on the Switch on January 23rd. Okay, so now we've got Synduality Echo of Ada. This is a PvPvE live service extraction shooter. You will be playing as a drifter who pilots a mech known as a cradle coffin, and you are aided by a magus, which is an AI partner. You wander up to the surface to gather resources for your home base and fight other players as well as monsters. I found this game's, while researching it, we found this one a little confusing. There's going to be a single-player component to the game as well, but it's primarily a live service game by design, is how it sounds. And then parts of the single-player won't be available at launch. I don't know how the game's player base is going to look or react to things like that. It's coming out with a price tag in a genre that's heavily associated often with free-to-play games, but it looks like this one will have tons of microtransactions, so I don't know. Might be like a Concord type situation here. Not really sure. But yeah, in addition to the shooting and looting aspects, you can spend copious amounts of time with your AI partner, so maybe the waifu and husbando aspects of it will have people overcome their fears of spending cash on this one. I'm not really sure. This one will be coming out on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on January 23rd. And there was an open beta period, and we did read the reviews from that open beta. And they were generally kind of mixed. I'd say about a third of them were fairly negative. So hopefully those issues are patched out, the things that people weren't liking about it. If not, you might want to wait a minute on this one if it looks appealing to you and just kind of see what the reception's like after it launches before you throw your hard-earned cash at it.
Place your hand here. Activating our contract. This magus shall always remain by your side.
Alright, and last up we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for PC. This is the second part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. It is a trilogy. If you don't know what this game's about, despite what the shipping community thinks, it is not a dating simulator. This is a full-blown RPG with a story that is not exclusively about who goes on a date at the casino. Yeah, some people don't know this. Anyway, again, if you're not familiar with Final Fantasy VII, it kind of revolutionized RPGs back in the day. The original one came out on the PlayStation 1 back in 1997. Got a cast filled with iconic gaming characters. Cloud, Tifa, Barret, Aerith. They're all in this one. This launched last year on PS5, and throughout the story you'll be journeying with Cloud and his friends to try and thwart a threat to the planet in the form of both Sephiroth and the Shinra Corporation. The PC version is boasting enhanced lighting, environmental details, and upgraded textures, and it has been Steam Deck verified. The original game is often hailed as one of the greatest RPGs ever made and one of the best stories ever told in gaming. And we said this previously back in our RPG of January video, but I feel like the remake project is more of a retelling. I feel like what's going on in the storyline is enhanced by knowing the original game's plot. I feel like some people who are hopping in here might be a little confused because there's there's a lot going on here, and certainly some major deviations to the original story have been made, and it continues to run parallel to it, but with some major events that did not transpire. I think of it more as a reimagining, not a remake. That's the wording that they chose, though. They get to. It's their game. But anyway, the game has really slick, fast action combat with these slowdown elements. Almost it's really good combat system. Great music. They are reinterpretations of Nobuo Uematsu's original soundtrack for the original game. Tons and tons and tons of mini games and fantastic graphics. If you want to check out the original, see where it all started, you can pick it up on virtually every console. The original's been made pretty readily available. Part 1 of the remake, just titled Final Fantasy VII Remake, however, is only available on PC, PS4, and PS5. And this one is a direct sequel to that one, so you might want to check those out firsthand, hitting PC on January 23rd. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and down in the comments let us know if you're going to be picking any of these games up. And as always, from all of us here at Game Conclave, thank you for watching.